Hey guys, and welcome back to another Conan Exiles video, in which we'll be building a Yamatai Tavern using the new Towers of Yamatai extension. The requirements for this build are on screen now, and it's pretty simple stuff overall. So without further ado, let's get started. Begin with this baseplate held up by pillars. Cover the underside of the ceilings with Yamatai walls. Place door frames on the single tile pieces and slot a tower foundation into them, and then top them off with tower rooftop intersections. On the ground floor, build a short 2x2 entranceway of walls, open at the front and back with stairs down to the ground and beams against the roof. Alongside quarter pillars on the entranceway itself, you should place those before you place the stairs. Build the ground floor walls 2 tiles high around the perimeter using tower frames and Yamatai walls on the first tile, and the tower interior walls on the second. Find the central 4x4 and place pillars in each corner, and then add a staircase in the back 2x2. Build a layer of tower ceilings to cap off the first floor, leaving a 2x2 hole right in the centre. Below the 2x2 on the ground floor, place quarter pillars and fences to create an exclusion area within the fencing. On the first floor, build the walls 2 tiles high as shown in the blueprint, with sliding doors on either long side and a side-to-side sliding door frame at the front. I initially toyed with the idea of putting a tavern bar on the side balconies here, but it felt a bit jammed in, so I opted not to. Build the quarter pillars and fences above the first floor 2x2 hole. Next, build a strip of ceilings over the centre of the first floor. Next, the roof. Build a gable on the rear and raise a rectangle of 1-tile walls atop the ceilings, excluding the 2x2 staircase segment. Build a pyramid hip roof with a flat finish either side of the walls, and then rooftop pieces on the first floor 1x2 sections, alongside adding frames and fences on the front balcony. Fence off the side balconies and then go back to the roof. Taper in the walls a little and extend the pyramid hip towards the centre with an open gable roof over the staircase. Build another layer of walls and then build a pyramid hip roof again with triangular accents. Go back to the ground floor and build a tricked stable pillar in the centre of the 2x2. Run that all the way up to the roof, and later on we'll replace the stable with tower pillars. Atop the first floor roofs, add rooftop pieces and wall caps. Raise the central stable pillar 1 tile above the roof and then add a ceiling onto it. After that, place the finishing rooftop corners, hang walls from the ceiling in the centre, and top off that ceiling tile with a roof intersection. Build a simple open gable roof over the balcony including some beams. Next, the tower awnings. Just wrap these around the top of the ground and first floor. You can get fairly convincing inverted corners by placing 2 corners together and running them into each other, which works pretty well, better than I initially thought they would. At the base of the top floor, I ended up lowering the roof below and adding a tile of walls to fill the gap on both sides, which I think flows much nicer. Back on the top roof, I replaced the straight awnings below the triangular accents with corner ones, which adds a really nice circular shape and dynamic to this area of the build. I then finished off the tower awnings wrapping around the build with the aforementioned technique of running corners into each other. Finally, halfway through the furnishing phase, I added corner rafters onto the ground floor. You have to remove the ceiling pieces, add the rafters and then replace the ceiling, which fortunately is quite easy to do as stability isn't much of a factor here. Everything generally has enough support, so it's quite easy to do. Finally, when the shell of the build was done, it was then time to, of course, furnish. To be honest, the building process of this was pretty dirty. This actually started off as a test build that I mainly recorded just to review how certain things worked, but as the build progressed, it actually turned into a rather nice tavern. I lit the exterior and most of the interior primarily with red Keton lamps, as I decided to borrow the idea from the Japanese izakayas, which are basically taverns, which traditionally displayed red lanterns outside, though I did include some hidden white torches on the exterior just for some pop lighting. Inside, the main tenets of decoration were warmth and order. The entire floor is based around the central 2x2, which is filled with plants, and the table layouts are carefully placed. The lighting has also been designed to be warm, but not too overpowering, and it does allow a bit of darkness in some of the corners. The left side of the tavern holds the bar counter itself, and the slightly more clustered seating with more of a focus on socialising and just generally a denser atmosphere. Across the tavern, the right side is all focused around the hearth and less densely populated, giving the space a much more airy vibe and just allowing the seating room to breathe. Heading upstairs, the first floor is more seating with a really strong focus on balance and order. This is where I think the central section really shines, as you can look down into the trees, plants and ivy, or up where I added vaulted ceilings and ivy, which I think actually looks rather nice. Those ceilings are growing on me a bit more now. The front balcony is quite a modest seating area that I think lends itself quite nicely to the floor, and the larger balconies on either side offer a far more open air experience, quite literally, with accessible walkways overlooking the space, both of which have a nice view across the highlands. And there we have it, my take on a Yamatai Tavern in the Highlands. The construction was a bit rough and dirty, but the end product was well worth it. This is probably one of, if not my favourite Yamatai build I've done to date, and really just solidifies for me that the Yamatai Towers extension really has revolutionised the base DLC. With that, a massive thanks to our wonderful esteemed coffee cultists for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. Make sure you subscribe for more Conan builds, guides, reviews, news, lore videos and more. Take care, and I'll see you soon.